Hey everyone, it's Josh again. Um, how are y'all doing? Okay, so, in case you haven't noticed, in my past few games, my past few videos, there's been a little bit of lag. Hopefully I took care of that. Let me know what you see on your computers, how the lag is, and hopefully that'll be resolved. So as you see here, I have a new board. This is, live chess, and what we're going to be doing is, I'm going to be playing somebody live while live commentating. So adamplenty wanted to do this. So we're gonna put the time control at 30, 0. Unrated. I'll play as random, alright? So create new game. Okay. Alright, here we go. So looks like I have the white pieces. So I'm gonna start with e4. e5, knight f3. Okay, so this is the Philidor defense. The thing I don't like about this is that this bishop right here is its development is going to be kind of hard. But it's still solid defending e5 and ready to develop the light squared bishop. So I'm going to develop my bishop here. Okay, here I think this is a flexible move. Trying that. Maybe moving the bishop right here is good. Getting ready for castle. This also gets ready for castle and targets my e4 pawn. Another move I've seen people play is this here. And after the trade takes, black has the open f-file and ready for this advance with the doubled pawns. But he played knight to h6, and the thing about this is the knight is, we say, is on the rim. You see, he can only move here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 places. If he was right here in the middle, he could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 places. So that's one thing to consider when developing your knight. This knight isn't well developed here, and I don't really see a good square he can go to soon. So I'm going to go ahead and just castle, get my king to safety. Okay, and if you want to take part in this, on chess.com, just send me a message and we'll play a live game. I'll do blitz or standard. I will not go to bullet because there is no time for me to give any um, comments there. So, alright, he developed the bishop here, also giving a pin to my knight. That was a strong move. At this point, I'm just going to play h3. Now the bishop probably wants to retreat here to h5. As I say, the threat is worse than the execution, so the pin is actually stronger than just taking. And after he takes, then I have the bishop pair. My queen is not exposed because there's not a way to take advantage of that, so the queen's actually on a pretty good square. Okay, so he exchanged. So now my queen's on a good square. As you see, I'm threatening mate here, but this knight guards. I guess that was the purpose of playing this move earlier. But this is good for me because black's dark squared bishop, his development is bad. The knight's development is bad. And my development is all good. It will all be going good for me. So I'm liking my position at this point. And then also, what you see is I have a little bit of a threat here. Sorry, that's got. I have a little bit of a threat here. I can move d3, and then if my bishop takes his knight, then pawn retakes, my queen comes here with mate. So he played f5, and this is pretty aggressive. He's getting all aggressive on me. Yeah, I don't see how this could be good for black. You can't take the pawn right away. If he takes with the knight, then of course my queen takes. And yeah, this is pretty good for me. If he tries g6 here, I'd let him take, and I'd just move here with the queen. The king would move up, my queen would come here, and that'd be mate because of this earlier move. So he probably doesn't want to advance g6 because that doesn't do anything for him. So this position's pretty good for me. I'm liking my position right here. Okay, and so he activates the queen. Now taking here is a possibility because the queen's guarding it as well. So okay, I have a few options here. I could try bringing my pawn to g4, but that does weaken my king some. I'm not sure if I really want to play that. I could move here d3, discover attack on the queen, but after queen takes, knight takes, then material has equalized, and it's pretty even there. Except I do have the bishop pair. What else? Another move I was looking at is bringing my bishop right here. The pawn defends the bishop, and the bishop defends the pawn. That's what I'm thinking about doing right now. Yeah, let's see how that turns out. I'm curious to see what happens now. Possible options for black. You could try bring the knight over here and then try swing him here to chase my bishop out. That would give me a little bit of time to maybe try to defend that pawn again or something. My plan now is to advance d3 with the discovered attack on the queen as mentioned earlier. The queen has to move. If he wants to keep attacking the pawn, the queen will have to move here. And then maybe I could give this check after here takes. My bishop's hanging, and my queen is hanging, so that's not good for me. So you see our times are about even. There's no increment. It's just 30 minutes on each clock. So he's down to 26 minutes, and I have about 27 minutes. So this game's progressing a bit fast for the time control, which that's pretty expected in my own games. Okay, so he played this move. As you notice, this pawn is hanging, and I think I want to take that. It looks pretty good for me. I take that pawn, he can't take here because then I take the rook with check. Yeah, I think I'm gonna want to do that. My king might be a little exposed, but his pieces aren't a good way to attack it. So with this move, you need to see like what is he threatening? What does this move accomplish? So what it does is it connects the king and the rook ready for castling, which if I play this, that won't matter. Where can the knight go? The knight can go here. Does that threaten anything? I don't believe that threatens anything except guarding the pawn. He can go right here. Maybe trying to, I don't know. So that looks like this move's the best for me. And I think I mentioned this in the last video. You saw I'm a diamond member here. I really recommend chess.com's diamond membership if you want to get better. It's only $99 a year, and it's really good. It's got videos, tactics trainer, a chess mentor software. It's really good. So chess.com is a great site for chess. So now at this point, I don't really have to worry too much about holding onto the F pawn because I'm up the B pawn. Okay, and he plays this. But yeah, I'm up the B pawn. And now here you see my bishop takes his knight. That's check, king takes, and now I take the rook. So if there are any other alternatives, it would just be taking here. Or maybe bringing the queen right here with a pin. Now the rook has to go right here. Yeah, so there's a lot of material hanging. So I'm going to play that. So yeah, he has to take the bishop. If he doesn't take the bishop, he'll have to take on the next move, and that just wastes tempo. Okay, so now I'm up a rook and 2 pawns, and the win is pretty much guaranteed for me here, unless I make any horrible mistakes, which, knowing me. So, let's see if Adam wants to play another one. I guess here black would try to take the pawn. Yeah, black takes the pawn. So what can I do now? I'm tempted to play this, but I do have to be careful. Yeah, so the queen's under attack, so the queen's gonna have to move now. And after that I take the pawn, he takes the pawn. And I can move around with check. And depending on where he moves his queen, I might be able to win the knight. Or the king would go there. Move my rook there, pinning the pawn to the king. Ah. You wanna see, here's the US championships are going on as I record this. This is Nakamura versus Kamsky. Nakamura is down by half a point in the tournament in second place, and Kamsky has half a point more than Nakamura, and this is a game between them that will probably be the most decisive of the match. So that's an interesting game. So he plays this, and it looks like he just gave me the queen. Okay. Good game. Good game, Adam. That was pretty good, pretty instructive. And we have the Philidor. That exchange is probably premature. That f5 move looks iffy. And in here, simple removing of the defender with check wins the rook. And then this simple discovered attack. That's how my battery's doing. Okay. Hopefully I'll have enough for... Alright, so I'm issuing a rematch. Alright, so we have a rematch. Now I have the black pieces. Alright, so we have e4. Go ahead and play e5. Let's see what attack he chooses. Okay, this is the Vienna defense. This isn't bad at all. I'm never saying it's bad. It's a good, respectable defense. I don't prefer it myself. And most of the time knight f3 is more preferred. But this is quite respectable too. A little bit quieter. Now if he plays knight f3 now and I play knight c6, which I would play, then we go into the four knights defense, which is pretty easy to navigate. Yeah, here we go. Four knights defense. Pretty simple opening. A lot of times it leads to the same themes. Okay, I haven't seen this move before. This hinders development here. You see now the bishop can't really develop well. I think normal is bringing the bishop right here, followed by d3 to bring the other bishop out. This isn't as good, so I'm just going to move here, developing my bishop. Okay, so he goes for a pawn break. Okay, I can see. If I take, he takes. No, I take, he advances the pawn. That's what I'm thinking. But I can just take with the knight, and that avoids the e-pawn advancing. I don't want to take with the bishop because then he can trade the knight for my bishop, which I don't want that. I mean, that would threaten the queen and a fork in, I guess win some tempo, put my knight on a pretty good square, but I don't feel like I really want to do that. Okay, so now I'm up a pawn. My bishop here is pretty anchored in the center. Alright, so he goes for this. Yeah, normally when this happens, you can take the pawn, but queen's guarding in this case. If I take, he takes, expands there. I don't know. Alright, here's what I'm gonna play. This move. What it does is, it either forces the knight to go back or exchange, which I have a feeling he's gonna exchange here. And when he exchanges, I already have this c6 move in, so I can prepare my d5 pawn advance. Hopefully my battery won't die on us. Okay. Go power saver. Oh, that made it dark. Don't want to be too dark. Okay, he went ahead and moved. I hope it's not too dark for you guys. Move it up a little bit. Okay. So he moved there. Okay. So I take, he takes, I take, he takes, maybe. I take, he takes. Wait. Takes. Oh wow. Takes. I don't know, let's see what happens. Yeah, I just gave up my bishop for the knight. I'm not quite sure about this position, actually. It's weird. I don't want to go here, because then he goes here. And that is with check. I guess if I go here, I force either an exchange or I win the pawn. So that might actually be kind of good for me. And then if I take with this one, he takes here. Yeah, I'd want to take with the knight. And he takes here. So the line I'm looking at is I take here, he takes here with check, I move here. And then if he moves the bishop here, I move the knight here, taking the pawn, threatening the bishop. and then he can take and I take, and while my king is pretty exposed, we're already in the end game, and so I'm pretty safe. So that's what I'm thinking I'm gonna play. Let's see how it turns out. So you could try to advance the pawn here, but my knight would go to e4. I'm gonna go ahead and block. Now the only way to avoid the queen exchange, if he wanted to do that, is move the bishop right here. Then I take his pawn. So okay, now he has to move the bishop here to defend the pawn. Now we have triple pawns right here. I noticed a couple moves back I had triple pawns. Now he has triple pawns. I mean, I have 2 pawns and he has 1 in between them. That's pretty amusing. Oh wow, he played that. Okay, I guess that's an option. It's a pretty good move, I guess. Move my king. I could move my king here. Takes, now bishop here. I'm just gonna ask him to trade. And say, hey, you wanna trade? Okay, he declines. Now I think I can take the pawn. Is this bishop threatening anything? Right here, forking my 2 pawns. He could do that. But I think I'm gonna do that. So now he can move right here, forking this pawn and this pawn. I don't want to lose this pawn, I want to lose this one since it's doubled. Do I have any other moves after that? That's the question. Could move the rook here, letting him take either pawn with a discovered check, but that doesn't really do much for me, does it? Alright, so yeah, he played the best move, good job. I'm not sure, I play this. If he takes here, I can't move over here to attack with tempo, I just go here with check. The king moves and it's like I got nothing. There. I'm still up. I'm up 2 pawns actually. He has the bishop pair, but I'm up 2 pawns, but it looks like he's gonna win one, so what I could try maybe is a counter threat. Try to attack one of his pawns. But I don't see a way to attack any pawns. So I think I'm gonna give him just give him that pawn. Just say take it. I don't want it. Or perhaps even go here, giving him the option to trade. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, I'll trade if you trade. If you want to trade, it's fine by me. Okay, now we both need to get our bishops and rooks developed, and I should win here, being up a pawn. But that pawn it's isolated, but it's also a passer, so if I can double my rooks behind it, use the knight and bishop to support it, then it might be able to promote. Probably want to trade off, maybe. I'm not too profound at endgames. So this move, okay. You know, second advantage is the fact that there's nothing I can do to save this pawn. That's what he's doing. And now I'm coming here. Now he has to take the pawn. If he doesn't take the pawn here, then he's in trouble. Because say he, I don't know, plays like a rook, like some random odd move here, you know. He doesn't do any. If this was black to move. Okay, if he plays that. Well, no, his king's out of check. Sorry, that was an inaccuracy. Yeah, this pawn's definitely gonna fall. I don't have my discovered check idea anymore, and my battery is about to die, so this is pretty bad for me. I don't like this position, especially with my battery about to die. You know, I wonder if there's an outlet line, right? Okay. Okay, I'll be right back. I need to plug in this computer. Okay, so I'm back. Alright, I'm back. And my thing didn't plug in. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, we are in. Okay, so I got our brightness back. Alright, so let's look at this position. It looks like, most simply, is develop. When develop this bishop, I'm going to put him on this long diagonal. That's what I want to do. Or do I want to put him here and bring the rook here with check? Giving him an uncomfortable position. I don't know. I'll go here. So now he's going to take the pawn. At this point, I don't know what you'd want to take it with. Either one's probably fine. Say hi to Fritz, everybody. Okay. So at this point, my pawn is still taboo. Not taboo, hanging. My pawn is still hanging, so he doesn't even have to take it right now. He can try something else to improve his position. He could even exchange the bishop for the knight and then take it if he wanted to. So he develops his bishop here. Yeah. I do not know. These pieces look fairly close to my king, don't they? I don't really like this too much. He could try coming here and bringing the bishop here with check. My king will have to go back here. Then the bishop will take this pawn. That's a potential move. So what if I played this, forcing him to take with the bishop? I'll go ahead and do that. Now you see now my options are open. I can move this bishop anywhere I want. I like the idea. If I get the bishop out of the way, I move rook here. The bishop's pinned. And it looks like white has to move. Well, he has to defend it. Now I just attack with the pawn. So he's gonna have to do something about that threat if it comes to play. Okay, now this is what we call a critical moment. Do I want my bishop to be here, or do I want my bishop to be here? So I don't know. I want my bishop to be here, the proximity to the enemy king, which I'm not gonna be able to like try and mate him or anything. But I don't want the bishop to come here and block my rook c8 chances. I don't know. If I come here, I can advance the pawn. I could do that right now anyway, try to kick the bishop back. But I think I'm going to put him right here. So let's see what he plays. What I see for him is take with the bishop. If I take with the king, he takes with the rook with check, which is good for him. After I move the king up here, this bishop takes this pawn. So that's good for him. Okay, and he plays this. Yeah, it's smart. He saw my pinning idea. I think taking the knight with the combination I said earlier would be better. I don't know. The pin's still a pretty big threat. So this is interesting. I'm up a pawn, but he's got significant counterplay. He's got the two bishops. That's really strong. My king. I don't like my king here. Why don't we just move him back for right now? How does that sound? Interesting, he could move here. I go here. That's an interesting line. If he decides to take the knight, I could take the bishop instead of retaking this bishop. I don't know. It's pretty. That's how Nakamura and Kamsky are doing. Alright, so they're still playing. It's Kamsky's moves. According to this, he has 15 seconds. Looks like Nakamura has this one in the bag. That's who I'm cheering for myself, so this is a good day for me. Okay, so I want to come here with check, but I mean you don't just do a random check just to do it, you know what I mean? Let's do this. Now the bishop could take this pawn, I take, rook takes. No, my bishop's guarding it. Sorry about that. Yeah, that's not a choice. You move the bishop here first, then that would be a pretty viable option. So, okay, it looks like Kamsky lost on time and Nakamura won that game. So that was a good game for Nakamura. Shulman and Robson. Okay, Yuri Shulman. I believe that's the oldest grandmaster. I think. I'm not quite sure. It looks like, when I checked back before, Yuri was actually, like, winning by a lot, but now it looks like there's some drawing chances, so. What other games are going? Okay, that's the only one that's going, so. Shapansky lost his game, and then the rest were draws, so. Okay, that was interesting. Alright. So, you see I'm down on time. A little bit of that could be contributed to my having to plug in my computer, but it looks like I'm thinking more than he is. Right now, he's trying to find a plan. This is another critical moment. He needs to try to come up with a good plan. Alright, so he plays this. I want to move my knight here. That's what I want to do. Bishop moves, I exchange, and then my bishop takes this pawn. If he doesn't move, I take, he takes, I still take the pawn. And I don't know if I'm missing anything, but I'm going to go ahead and play that because it looks pretty good for me. And I like this move, trying to get rid of that bishop pair. And actually, also, you can't move back here. Or, you can't move anywhere else, because then, except right here, I'll talk about that here in a sec. But if he moves, say, back here, I come here, I take this pawn, and that wins a rook, because this rook moves, this rook goes here with check, and then followed by taking the bishop. He could try to reblock with the bishop, but all my pieces are focusing, so he plays this move defending the bishop again. And I attack it again. The idea is if he takes, I take the rook with check, which is better for me. Interesting position. My king's to safety, so I don't have to worry about him anymore, so this looks pretty good for me. Up 2 pawns. And it looks like the bishop is gonna die. So he has to take and then I take, because that loses the bishop for a rook. And if he just dropped the bishop, period, that's worse. That would be losing 3 points. Bishop for rook is 2 points, and I don't usually go by the material system too much because it always depends on the position. But if you look at the material system, then that's better, and that is definitely better here. So he's gonna have to take my bishop, and he can't make this move I suggested earlier, going here attacking my rook, because then I just come here, a check, he goes here, I come here, a check, and he comes up and I won both rooks. So he can't just move the bishop. That loses on the spot. So it looks like he just has to take mine and live with it. So, alright, so looking at this, Houdini is saying that it's white's got a slight advantage, which he would be up a pawn in the material system with the bishop, but I don't know, because black has the best chances of promoting. I think both sides here want to draw, and they both were pretty even on time, so that's pretty interesting. Who's going to win that? Okay, so I did not originally calculate this move. I'll just take with the rook. Okay, so it's pretty much the same position repeated without the bishop. And now my rook's right here. So this is pretty over. Okay, now the rook doesn't want to take because mine just takes his, and he loses the exchange. But right here I have a, if he goes right here, attacking my bishop again, which really isn't that good. I move here with check. And after he moves back, I don't know. I'm also threatening, could I have done it here? I could have done it here, probably that was, well, no, not really. Okay, so he took the pawn. So see, I could go here with check, he takes, I take, he takes my rook. So I do not want that. No, I don't want that at all. So yeah, I'm up 2 pieces here. I have 2 pieces and a pawn. Right? Yeah, 2 pieces and a pawn. I just have to figure out how to consolidate my advantage. I guess a solid move would be this. I'm guessing just defending my rook, because I can't move the bishop while the rook's undefended. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I always want it to be like those grandmasters. Funny accent when commentating. Now my rook's defended, so I could have moved my other rook there, but I still have potential for a check on the c-file. That might become important later, probably not. I'm threatening this fork right here, which fails once this rook was undefended, but now that's defended after I check. If he tries to take, now it's defended, so it's a solid move, keeping my threats. And what could white play here? I don't know. This is resign time. That's what I call it. Resign time. So good games out in plenty. Thank you for them. They're pretty instructive. When this is over, I'll do a quick review. Alright, so you played this. So now my threat of the fork is over. So the question is, do I take the pawn or not? To take the pawn or not to take the pawn? That is the question. Let's think about moving my bishop here back to the rook moves. I don't know. I don't think I really have anything there. Bishop here is very inactive. More accurate, I think, is moving it right here, defending the pawn. So. This rook could have tried to come here and skewer my pieces. I didn't really try to calculate and act to see if I had a defense there. Okay, let's see that now. This rook came here. Could I defend that? Yep, I fork. My knight comes here, forking the king and the rook. So yeah. So that's not an option. How about this? Rook can't take here because I just take here. Rook takes here, I take here. Saving the bishop. Exchanges are good for me. I exchange down and win. So this endgame's winning for me. So the rook moves there, nice joining both of these. If I move my bishop, he takes here, or no, he'd take with this one. Maybe we even go for a perpetual check. Who knows? So I think I can just let him do that because I'm gonna move right here. And next I take the rook. Simple fork. So it's the end of that game. Good game, Adam. Okay, I asked him if he'd like to say anything to our viewers, because maybe he wants to say something. So let's see, start without the Vienna game, then transpose to the Four Knights defense. This is a little, an outline. An odd line here I've never seen before. This seems to be good for me. This was kind of complicated, hard to calculate, but after this, my king got a little bit of exposed, and he managed to get some counterplay, win a pawn, and smartly he left the pawn until he absolutely had to take it. And so I fianchettoed, and now we're in this bishop pair with a pawn down endgame. It's pretty interesting. Alright, so now I started pressuring the bishop. I have a good pin going. So this was a pretty good move, taking advantage of the pin that hung the bishop. The rook moved back, and that allowed me to just take. He took the pawn here. Okay, at this point, I still could have forked him. I missed it that time. But I still wanted an exchange. Exchange, also good for me. I just go here and fork, and the game's over. So, Good game, Adam. He says, I think I made the moves too quickly. And yes, you did move a little too fast. That is one of my problems, is I move too fast. I've been trying to slow it down. I played a game against someone rated over 2,000, and it was 30 minutes, and at the end of the game, we each had 25 minutes left on our clock. We were moving way too fast. So yeah, I definitely recommend that, slowing down and thinking, calculating, double checking, checking for checks, threats, captures, etc. And just work on your calculation abilities. My blindfold video talks about that a little bit. So thanks, Adam. Some instructive games we had. So I hope you found this instructive, and I'll see you next time. Bye.